Welcome to another special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, and with me in studio today we have Jason Vesey. He is the secondary coordinator or director at Pickaway-Ross Career and Technology Center, and also Janet Barrows, and she is the career development coordinator.
You got it.
Thank you for stopping in today. We're going to talk more about Pickaway-Ross and what they've got going on, something brand new. You're going to see some dirt being turned a little bit here and there. Well, probably a lot of dirt to be turned. Details coming up in just a moment, but first, these words from our fine sponsor.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
In the news recently, a grant has been handed down from the state of Ohio. And Jason, I know that you were a part of seeing Lieutenant Governor John Husted stop down and talk about the progress being made in the state budget for career and technology centers. You had to be on cloud nine when you heard the word.
I tell you what, it's a great time to be in career technical education right now, particularly in the state of Ohio and in our region. Pickaway-Ross is experiencing growth that we haven't seen before, and as a result of that, we are in great position to apply for expansion. And we learned just a couple of months ago that our application for expansion with the State School Facilities Commission was approved, and our district was awarded just over $7 million for a construction program that will result in a little over 16,000 square feet of high bay lab space being added to our main campus there at Pickaway-Ross. So this is going to create a lot of new opportunities for our kids, for our partner schools that send their students for skilled training. We're hoping to create a brand new commercial construction lab. We see a lot of our students in our commercial construction program that go on to work on projects like the Intel microchip project, like the Honda battery plant that's coming down the road in Fayette County. And so with the surge in commercial-related construction, we want to make sure that we're training kids that can go out and get those jobs that are available. The second piece of our expansion will be what we call our construction tech program. And that program is more related to residential construction. Students in that program learn everything from basic carpentry skills to a little bit of electrical, a little bit of plumbing, and they are working throughout Ross County and the surrounding counties on residential projects. And like I said, as Pickaway-Ross continues to grow, we want to be able to meet the needs of our communities and provide those human resources. So this expansion will give us state-of-the-art facilities. It'll allow us to take more students into those programs. And then also, as a result of that new construction, it's going to give us the ability to renovate some spaces on main campus. Hopefully our HVAC program, our cafeteria area, we're looking to open that up and modernize that space a little bit. So there's a lot of good things that come with the expansion. It will also have an impact on our adult education programs. A lot of our adult education programs are held there on main campus in the evenings. So we're hoping that we can also increase enrollment in those programs as well. Mm-hmm.
I saw Jonathan Davis over the weekend, and I think I still saw some confetti in the back of his head from the celebration about all this. When we talk about the number of kids that have gone through the program, there's never enough room. And this is a statewide issue, we've learned. And I was surprised at how many people were on the waiting list to get involved.
Absolutely. We have currently incoming our largest class of applicants, students that have applied to come to Pickaway-Ross. And that's coming in on the heels of last year's largest senior class ever that we have graduated. So You know, the secret's out on career tech. When kids come to Pickaway-Ross, they can get not only a quality high school education, but they also get industry credentials. They can earn college credit while they're on campus with us. And they get a hands-on learning experience that's just unlike anything else. And so it's a very popular time. And honestly, Janet can probably speak more to some of the growth that we've had and what that looks like than I can. So I'll let her speak on that a little bit.
And you have the responsibility of shoehorning people into different spots.
I do.
I can't imagine what a chess match is like that you have to try and figure out.
It is. It's a very complicated process. We've got a formula that helps. Excuse me. We have our applicants choose 3 programs that they're interested in. So our hope and our goal is that if we can't get them into their first choice, we can eventually get them into either their second or their third by the time we start school. So,
is it possible that if someone goes their junior year and then suddenly they want to swap that out and say, you know what, I'm working on my second choice. Can I go my senior year for this first choice?
I'll let.
It's difficult to do that. Not impossible. Where we run into some issues with that is a lot of times in the junior year of the program, the students learning a lot of the safety protocols and some of the very intro level things that go into that particular pathway. So to make that switch is difficult, but sometimes we can work a situation where we can get a senior into a junior level of the program and kind of get them started down the road. But you know, one thing we try to do at Pickaway-Ross is meet our students' needs, and we try to be flexible. So if there's a way to be creative and there's a way to get a student in a program where they can pursue their passion, we're going to try to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, and if what their first choice was and their second choice is close enough together, like carpentry and electrical work,
correct?
I could see that would be easier to do that.
Right.
Yeah, some of those are much more easier than like going from healthcare to welding.
Precisely. Yeah, I was really surprised, and I've been fortunate enough to be involved with your ceremonies at the end of the year, and the number of girls who are taking welding. And I remember back in the 1980s with flash dance, it seemed like that was something was unique, but it's not as unique as you might think anymore.
It's really not. We have a lot of girls in what I call, just personally, the heavy trades, like the welding and the electrical. I actually had the opportunity to take about 20 of our female students to the engineer and operating engineers apprenticeship. And it was an event called She Dig, and it was in Logan, Ohio. And we took 20 or 25 of our female students in those trade programs down. They were able to operate heavy equipment, learn about apprenticeship opportunities down there. So it was shocking to me coming from adult ed to see how many girls we had in those heavier trades.
You've had the uniqueness of being in both sides of this for the high schoolers, but also the adult education side. So let me ask you, which is more exciting to work with? Because these young kids, they don't know what they're getting into at first. These adults, they've been in one area, and now it's like, I really am driven to do this.
Right. It's a lovely part of both because I get to see the enthusiasm of the kids. You know, their potentials, they see no limit to the opportunities that they have with Pickaway-Ross, no matter what program they're looking at. Their first choice, their second, even their third choice. Like you said, the adults, they've been out in the world, they know. But we do find that we have a lot of our seniors currently working with one of our students who is in our electrical program, but wants to do our adult education Powerline program, which is not something that we can offer to high school students. So his work in our electrical actually gives him a firm foundation for our adult ed program. So it's great to work with both. Helping someone on the path of what will be their future career is always an exciting opportunity, whether it's a 16 or 17-year-old or whether it's someone who's, a little more mature.
Yeah. I know with this grant, and who knows how long it'll take to get the construction complete.
I actually know that.
Do you? Okay.
So the construction will start as early as next fall, but we have to be completed by September of 2026.
Which is part of the grant.
Yes. So it's actually going to be a very swift process, and while we're all excited and looking forward to it, we also know it's going to be a lot coming at us very quickly. So. Yeah, it's going to happen quick.
The big winners are those kids that are in 7th and 8th grade now.
Right.
I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to give us the ability to increase our capacity, and that was one of the things that the state of Ohio wanted career centers to consider when they applied for this grant. How can we serve more kids, particularly in these high demand trades like construction, like manufacturing? And so by adding these 2 labs and giving us the ability to kind of stretch out into some of those other lab spaces, this is going to give us the ability to serve more students on campus.
One of the other statistics that comes out is how many kids are actually employed in their field of choice while they're still in high school. I couldn't get over the percentages that I saw last year.
Absolutely. We have a couple of guys that are working for Pickaway-Ross as job placement coordinators, and they do an excellent job of working with program instructors and the students to get them placed full-time prior to graduation from high school. Last year, I believe our seniors that were on full-time job placement brought in just over $2 million total. So well over 200 kids on job placement, working, in our area, in our region that has tremendous needs. When we talk to employers, that's one thing that always comes out of those conversations is we need more students. We need more students. And so it's a great position for our students to be in because they can, get these jobs with the skills that they've learned at Pickaway-Ross. And, it's not just a job, it's the beginning of a career for these kids. So it's exciting for us to see. We truly get to see the rubber meet the road, and these kids are doing great things.
You have a completely, well, not different view, but I'm working towards a question here. If you look at the world of academia, most of your kids, you want to see get that scholarship, move on to a 4-year college, maybe become a doctor at some point in time, get their master's, whatever. In your side, you're seeing productivity like right off the bat.
Yes.
That has to be rewarding for you as an educator, but to see these kids growing up right in front of you, it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the whole idea, I think that probably was born out of my generation, that everybody needs to go to college in order to be successful. That's kind of turned because we see kids that with the credentialing and with the skills that they have when they enter the workforce, we're now seeing that employers, if that individual wants to go on to college and do those things, they will pay for that person to do that. And so, the rise in demand for some of the trades jobs has really narrowed that income gap. And so we're seeing a lot of students that leave Pickaway-Ross making over $20 an hour. They have no student loan debt to contend with. And, if they ever decide they want to go that route of higher education, employers will pay for it in a lot of circumstances. So, like I said, the economy has changed, and the demand for career tech continues to grow as a result.
We saw the opportunity to hear from employers as well as the educational side at a chamber gathering here back in, I think it was January of last year or March sometime. And to see Lieutenant Governor Houston come and speak to that smaller group, to hear them say what our needs are, and then hear Jonathan Davis say, well, here's what we can meet for you.
Right.
It was interesting to see the light bulbs go off amongst some of the career leaders that had not used the kids from the vocational school.
Absolutely. Like you said, the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor have kind of set the tone for growth of career tech. And, Mr. Davis is a great leader for our district and puts us in spaces where we can communicate with those business owners. Every program at Pickaway-Ross has a business advisory council. So whether it be a commercial carpentry program, whether it be a vet assisting program, they have 2 meetings a year where they bring in local business and industry leaders in that pathway. They meet with those folks, talk about their program, talk about their curriculum, the credentials that the students are earning. They talk about what job placement looks like. And so by building those relationships with those local business leaders that you're talking about, I think it really puts Pickaway-Ross in a position to meet their needs and be attentive to the things that are going on here locally so that we can better serve our community that way.
Once the expansion takes place, your waiting list, I'm sure, might be smaller in some respects. But
we hope.
What happens if you become in the same situation? You know, you expanded so much and so many more kids want to get involved.
We ask for another grant, we'd have another expansion, right?
It's progress. Right?
That's right.
You know, one way we serve those students that aren't necessarily on main campuses through our satellite programs, which are housed at our home schools. So, for instance, the ag programs that are in Ross County and in Pickaway County are Pickaway-Ross programs. We also have numerous IT programs, business programs, marketing programs that live inside of our home partner schools. And so those students in those courses are also getting opportunity, many times earning industry credentials while they're at their home high school.
Yeah. I know when I was in high school at Teays Valley, our kids went to Eastland Career Technology. I don't recall how many high schools went there. Pickaway-Ross, you've got 10 schools?
Actually 12.
Is it 12 now?
12. So we offer with our private and public schools. So any private and public school in Pickaway County. Now, Teays Valley does still attend Eastland. But if we offer a program that, let's say, they do not, those students are able to attend Pickaway-Ross as well.
I did notice one of the hallways was marked Teays Valley.
Teays Valley,
I
yep.
didn't realize they were here. But I guess what I'm getting to is you serve a large number of schools. Vern Rife, for instance, has 4, you know, and so on and so forth. I've seen that in Delaware, just 4. So how does that change up how you have to do what you need to do to meet these needs?
Well, in the state of Ohio, career tech education is divided into what they call career technical planning districts. And so that's kind of what you're describing is the schools that fall into our CTPD. And it is a very diverse group. I mean, we've got a couple of city schools with Chillicothe and Circleville, and then we have some schools that are very rural, the Huntingtons, the Paint Valleys. And so we're getting kids that are coming to us from different areas. We have a new academic course on campus called Conservation Science. And students in that class are getting to do things involving the outdoors, involving fishing and hunting and trapping. And so when you bring kids from different backgrounds and different neighborhoods and communities together in those type of settings, it really creates a neat mix that, makes these classes come alive.
I also noticed in recent years, when I say recent years, within the last 10 years, I was not aware that some of the kids that go to the CTC can still participate in a lot of the extracurricular activities at their home high school.
Absolutely. I think that was kind of a holdup for my generation, we'll say, our generation, because we wanted to still be active at our home schools. Yeah. You know, I don't want to miss out on my senior year activities, and if I'm at Pickaway-Ross, I won't be able to do that, and that is completely not true. We actually encourage participation with our home schools. You know, if the students have something like maybe a pep rally for homecoming going, we make sure those students are able to attend that. Students are allowed to participate in all sports and band and anything extracurricular at their home schools. So we encourage it.
Yeah.
And Dan, I know you're very much a social media guy. If you keep an eye on the Pickaway-Ross social media channels, we do a great picture every season of our athletes that are on campus at Pickaway-Ross. And one of my favorites is always the fall picture because we have all the athletes line up by our sign out front. And I'm telling you, if it weren't for Pickaway-Ross, there wouldn't be any offensive or defensive linemen in Ross or Pickaway County. So that's a great photo, and it just kind of supports what Janet said about how we encourage our students to be involved at their home school as well.
And state wrestling champions.
Absolutely.
We go back to Circleville, and the young man's name escapes me right now, but I could see he was a very happy individual, not only to win that championship, but when he went through to get his diploma, I threw that little extra state championship in there, and people got excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a lot of times our hallways are decorated with posters of encouragement for some of our students when they go on to tournament play or those types of things. So.
And it's not just that. You do the same thing for the skills competitions when your kids go on to do things nationally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so each of our programs are involved in what's called a Career Tech student organization. And those CTSOs are kind of like our version of athletics, because that's where our students get the opportunity to go and compete in contests that are related to their chosen pathway. So Pickaway-Ross will have students that are competing. For instance, one of our programs is Law and Public Safety. The kids in that program compete in a contest called Crime Scene Investigation. So they will compete against other students from other career centers, and they will evaluate a crime scene and write it up and do all the investigation. But our welders compete at the state level. Our carpentry students, our electrical students, even our health students have contests that are designed to surround medical terminology and so our kids get really excited about those things, and our staff gets really excited about those things. Almost every year we have students that qualify for national levels of competition. So our Skills USA students will be competing in Atlanta, Georgia this summer if they qualify for national competitions. So it's always an exciting time, and that's something that gives us a lot of pride at Pickaway-Ross.
And it should.
Yeah.
It certainly should. If someone wants to, let's say they're 7th or 8th graders right now, freshmen, sophomores, so you've probably already talked to this year's sophomores.
I have already had a nice conversation with a lot of sophomores.
Yeah, I bet. How do they get involved? Where can they learn more?
Well, actually, I will be going out to our homeschool partners again and talking with the 8th graders here pretty soon. We're going to bring those 8th graders into our main campus so that they can tour and kind of just get an idea of what we have and what we do, what we offer. That'll happen in the springtime. So I'll be going out and introducing myself to those students here pretty soon. But the main things that we encourage the students to focus on is make sure your attendance stays good. We do look at attendance. We also look at conduct. So we want to make sure we're on our best behavior kids. And we also look at credits. So make sure that you're getting the credits your freshman and your sophomore year that we don't, for example, health and phys ed, we don't have the opportunity to offer those at our campus. So you want to make sure that you have all of your credits ready to go by the time you're entering your junior year.
They don't realize that they're building their resume even at that young age.
Even at that young age, exactly. Yeah. And we do have a document that I do hand out to all of our homeschool guidance counselors that they can hand to the students that tell them, okay, I'm in 8th grade, I need to start looking at this. I'm a freshman, now I need to start doing that.
Yeah. So. And you mentioned the vocational agricultural side of things. We've learned so much over the years about the kids who are 4-H kids or FFA kids. They get it. Yeah. And from hearing some of the employers talk about it, I want those kids because they've got their act together.
Absolutely. We've got some great ag teachers throughout Ross and Pickaway County, and those kids that are in those programs get a lot of opportunities to participate in leadership trainings, whether it's Parley Pro or some of the contests, the judging. That builds responsibility in those students, and those kids are highly sought after by employers, like you said.
Makes me want to go back to school again.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wish
maybe my career path could be different then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I wish that some of the programs that we offer now were offered back then.
Right. And we could be doing this because you've got a media side as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we could be doing all that stuff still.
Good.
I could actually know what I'm doing. So, thank you for coming in today. If there's anything we missed, reach out to them and ask questions because that's the only way you know.
Right.
Absolutely.
And sophomores, we are still accepting applications through January 26th for our priority deadline. So go to the website, call me if you have any questions, see your homeschool guidance counselor. We'll help you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks
for having us.
Jana Barrows and Jason Vesey from Pickaway-Ross Career and Technology Center. We'll talk to you again in just a moment with another edition of Litter Media Live.